Hello everyone and welcome to the Mindset Model Podcast, the house of good vibes and unicorn energy. I am your number one hype girl cheering you through the game of life. On this podcast, I am here to help you unleash your best self, to bring your dreams to life using the art of mindset and manifestation. Let's create magic. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Mindset Model Podcast. I hope you are having the best week so far. So in today's episode, we're going to have a little bit of a mixture into the manifesting magic. Some amazing ideas that I've picked up over the last week, which are absolute game changers. This is going to be a very powerful episode. So first of all, a lot of questions that I get are around purpose. And it's one of the reasons why I actually started researching into manifestation back in the day. Another name for purpose is Dharma. Now, this is one of the universal laws, which means your unique purpose in the world. We are all here with our own unique blueprint, and we have a unique vibration. And if you are listening to this podcast, you are a magical person, my friend, and you are here to discover your true potential. So congratulations, you are magical as fuck. So how do we actually discover our purpose? So you can actually use tools like human design, astrology, numerology to help you, but essentially it's following your joy and what lights you up. Let's have a little look into the different stages of discovering your true soul purpose. Now, step one, this is self-awareness. This is when you realize there is so much more to life than you've been experiencing. You get this inner feeling that you know that you have a purpose, but you don't know what it is. Stage two, this is self-improvement. So you want to make a few changes on how you actually live your life. You start following inspirational people, reading self-help books. Maybe you've been downloading meditation apps. Perhaps you've been consuming foods which feel a little bit more healthy to you. Changing habits that no longer serve you. Maybe you've been distancing yourself from people that just don't feel good. And you're generally taking action steps that make you feel better. Step three, this is the awakening stage. This is when you've gone from improving yourself to knowing yourself. You have discovered who you are. You begin to realize there is a whole world of possibilities, and you start smashing through those limiting beliefs. You start to do that healing work, such as forgiveness and self-image. This is when the seeds of your purpose start sprouting, and you will discover what you are meant to be doing on this planet. Now, stage four, this is your higher consciousness. You no longer hide from other people what you want to do and who you want to be and who you are. You are essentially a new you. People say things like, wow, you've changed, you seem really different. You just walk around with a brand new energy and aura. It's like you've been reborn. And then we have got the final stage, stage five. This is stepping into your purpose. This is fully embodying who you are. You transform your entire life and you realize you are here to be of service with your unique talents and gifts. You follow your joy and it feels so damn right. This is truly magical. And it is a journey. There are no time limits and there are multiple paths. All you need to do is follow your joy and your passion, the sparks that you feel when a new idea comes into your mind, something you're pulled towards. Now, sometimes we do put a little bit of pressure on ourselves on how to identify our purpose, but you can take this pressure away instead by asking yourself something a little bit different. Instead of asking yourself, what is my purpose? Say, what brings me alive at this point in my life? It's a great question. And remember, we can actually have multiple purposes. These can change depending on what lessons you need to learn in this lifetime. But the best way to navigate through is to follow what you love doing. Happiness is a journey. It's creating a life that you desire. It's the fire in your heart that fuels you to change. It's choosing challenges that will bring you further to the truth. Happiness is seeing others benefit from you sharing your unique gift. Isn't that just lovely? So, the next topic that I wanted to talk about today is the power of forgiveness. And this is a part of the awakening step of discovering your purpose, discovering your Dharma. Now, many of us are actually preventing our manifestations from coming to fruition because we are holding on to the past. We are holding on to resentment. And this can be resentment towards yourself or others. Now, resentment and anger is so unbelievably toxic to the body, and it can show up as illnesses, weight gain, just general things in your life going wrong. And if you've been noticing a certain pattern during your lifetime, this could be a sign that your subconscious is holding on to something from the past, some resentment. So, for example, I've personally noticed a pattern when I'm holding on to resentment or I'm being really hard on myself. I actually gain weight. So when this happens, and I do gain weight, I am now aware that I need to pause and process what my inner dialogue has been recently. Have I been critical to myself? Have I been putting myself down? Have I been neglecting myself? Have I been listening to other people's opinions about me? Have I been creating stories in my head that won't serve me? Oh my goodness me. So there is actually a theory as well that when you gain weight, it's your body trying to protect your internal organs from yourself. I know. So from the horrible things you say to yourself, remember the words you use are so powerful and they actually change the molecular structure of water, and we are mostly made up of water. So be very, very careful of the inner dialogue and what you're saying to yourself. Now, a personal story of resentment and anger that I had against another person. After I had my car accident all those years ago, I had a court case to be compensated for my injuries. Now, me as a person, I'm very optimistic. I've got quite a high energy level, but if I'm upset, I really do hide my feelings, and I really, really struggle with showing vulnerability. I'm one of those people that's literally dying inside, but on the outside, I'm like, yeah, woo. So a year after my accident, I was very, very low, and I didn't really want to be alive anymore. I was in such a bad place. And this is purely because of the pain I was in. I had the worst back pain ever. I had my head injury that just fogged my brain, and I just was not good. And of course, off the back of this, I lost my career and I lost my identity. Now, eventually, I did open up to how I was feeling to one particular doctor who was doing an assessment on me that would be submitted to the courts, and I told him everything, the most painful parts of my day-to-day life. I really went into detail, and it was the most vulnerable I'd been throughout the whole process. So after this session, about a week later, his report came out, and he implied that I was lying. What the actual fuck? Can you imagine how I felt, my most vulnerable, and then being told that I am a liar? madness. So I held on to that resentment for years. That anger I was holding on to was draining my energy. It was affecting my mental and physical health, and there was zero benefits for me holding on to this resentment. Then I realised I had to change. I had to change my perspective and the way that I was thinking. So I chose in that moment to let go of the past, forgive and move on. So that is my personal story. And I'm now going to share a story from a very, very powerful shaman. Now, a shaman is a very spiritual person, and they understand on the deepest level on what it means to be a human. They are in contact with the spirit realm, and they are just magical. So this shaman, this is a true story. He had a client who came to see him for a consultation, and this man was just so desperate. His life was chaotic. His business was crumbling. His health was awful. Everything was going wrong, and he could not understand why. So the shaman in the consultation was asking him a little bit about his life, and the man said that when he was younger, when he was a baby, his dad left him due to being an alcoholic, and his mum couldn't cope with the kids, and him and his brothers or sisters or whatever ended up going into foster care, and then it was a bit of a downhill falling after that. So this man had so much anger towards his dad. He hated him, and he could not understand why. He would have abandoned him as a baby. He was an alcoholic. He chose the alcohol over him and all of that lot. So the man wanted to confront his dad and tell him how much he ruined his life and find out what he did, tell him he hated him and all of that. But unfortunately, the man did find out that his father actually passed away. So he managed to track down his father's grave, and he turned up to his father's grave, and he told him exactly what he thought of him, how much he hated him, how evil he thought he was, all of the nasty things. The shaman then said, "You need to forgive your father. Visit his grave again and tell him you forgive him." The man was like, "Are you fucking mad? Why should I? He ruined my life and he is evil. He's a piece of shit and all of the things." The shaman said again, "I'm sorry to say, but you have to forgive him. You forgive him until you feel love and compassion in your heart for your father, and you feel truly free of the misery that you are inflicting on yourself." So a few months later, the man calls the shaman, not to book in another session, but to actually say thank you. So he began to tell the shaman what actually happened. He actually went back to his father's grave, like the shaman said to him, and he forgave his father. And the man understood that the past wasn't for him to be angry about. His father could not have done any better with the resources he had at the time. He did not have any emotional resources that he needed. He was an alcoholic. He couldn't have shown up any other way that he did. And then after forgiving his father at the grave, the man started walking away, and he felt a great lightness into his body. He had never felt this feeling before. It actually felt like somebody was stood behind him. He turned around and saw his father actually apparated into 3D form behind him. I know. His father then thanked the man for his forgiveness, and he said to him, "Because of the love you chose for me, I want to let you know that I feel the same love for you. And from now on, I am going to be the best father to you I possibly can." From that point on, the man's life completely and utterly transformed. It did a whole 180. He was thriving. His business was booming. His health was top notch. He met the love of his life. The man chose to erase his past history, and that brought him immense amount of healing. That is the power of forgiveness. When you recognize that being right, the power of righteousness, does more harm than good, you will open yourselves up to levels of life and levels of inner peace that you did not know you even had. That is it, my friends. When you forgive someone as well, this doesn't mean that you have to be like best mates. I mean, unless you want to, you can still have boundaries. You can choose to never bloody speak to this person ever again. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to do these things. You just need to forgive them on a conscious level. It just means that you are releasing that toxic energy that is causing you pain and preventing you from living your best life. It's not affecting the other person. It's only affecting you. And, forgiveness is a process and you have to be ready for it. If it's still quite raw, quite recent, give it a little bit of time. But if it's something that's happened a few years ago and you feel ready, perhaps it's time to start the process. And ask yourself things like, what is it costing me to hold on to this resentment? Is it actually worth the pain for the sake of being right? How much pain am I willing to endure for somebody else's mistakes? And it's the same for self-forgiveness as well. This is massive. Forgive yourself for anything that you did in the past, because the past no longer exists. And you did the best that you could at the time with the resources that you had and the mindset that you had. You deserve to live a happy, fulfilling, peaceful life. So become aware of the things that you're holding on to that do not serve you, and step into who you truly are. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please share it with others. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, we are here to live our absolute best lives.